this regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Navasota for December 9th, 2021. If you have not already silenced your cell phones, please do that at this time. And if everybody would please rise for the invocation of the pledge.
Let's say our gracious and heavenly Father, as we come with thanksgiving. We give you all the praises and we give you all the honor. Father, we ask that you bless this town. We ask that you bless this county, and we ask that you bless this nation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any visitors signed up to speak tonight?
I believe everyone here is for a specific agenda item.
Okay, then we'll dispense with remarks to visitors. And that brings us to item number 4. As soon as I get to it. Conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment and testimony regarding the replat application submitted to the City of Navasota by Jose Alfaro for the property located at the corner of Virginia Street and Horlock Avenue. The replat application requests to replat Lot 8, 9, and 10 West Half all of Felder, Block 29 into 2 separate lots. The property affected is legally described as Felder, Block 29, Lot 8, 9, 10 West Half all located in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas 77868. And we will open the public hearing at 6:02 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, city staff received a replat application for Mr. Alfaro a few weeks ago. We have reviewed the replat according to the subdivision ordinance and other applicable standards, and it does meet the minimum criteria. The property is in the R1A zoning district, where the minimum lot size is 7,000 square feet, and both of these proposed lots meet the dimensions and the square footage minimum. Mr. Alfaro is here if y'all have any questions as well.
So would you like to step to the podium? That way if we have questions.
All right.
So, Mr. Alfaro, I asked you earlier before the rest of the committee, which way would the houses be facing that you would?
They would be facing Horlock Street.
And then the general size, square footage of the house that you would put?
They'll run from around 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. It'd be like 40 by 60. Mm-hmm.
In general, Mr. Alfaro, I guess that the houses that you do build, I mean, they're a brick structure or rock?
Yes,
masonry?
that's correct. That's correct.
Have you built any other homes in Navasota?
Yes, sir. I built one on Dove Crossing.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'm familiar with that one.
Yes, sir.
He does build a good product. Are there any neighbors to the adjacent property that are here to speak about that? No?
Yeah, on Virginia Street and Horlock Avenue, I'm trying to figure out where is that at? I know it's a Horlock up this way, there's a Virginia down this way, but Virginia Street and Horlock, where is that at?
Well, if you
Can
go
you pull the
on
map?
Eastland, what's it?
Washington Avenue.
Washington, you'll see Horlock and go all the way down.
Virginia's way down there.
It's almost all the way down.
So it's a Virginia Street on the east.
It's on the corner of Virginia and Horlock. It's an empty lot at the moment.
Here,
Right there's Virginia Street. and
here's
Horlock.
Webb, that's Webb
that's
Elementary, and here's the lot.
right there, They'll be facing Horlock Street.
Lupe, is that just Virginia Street, or is that East Virginia Street?
I think it's just Virginia Street.
So it's a Virginia Street on this end, and Virginia Street on this end?
Guess so. Yeah, I guess that.
I never knew one was on the east side of town.
You don't go to the east side of town very much, do
Back in there.
Over part of the city.
you? Yeah.
I was trying to figure out where it's at. So it's one block over from Stacy.
Yes.
Is that, what is, the park is over there? Pretty close to the park.
Yes.
And a walking trail on the creek, don't you?
The park, I think, is on Victoria Street.
Yeah, here's the park. Here's the lot.
Learn something every day.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Alfaro? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
We'll
you.
close the public hearing at 6:07. And that brings us to agenda item number 5, consideration and possible action on a replat application submitted to the city of Navasota by Mr. Jose Alfaro for the property located at the corner of Virginia Street and Warlock Avenue. The replat application request to replat lot 8, 9, and 10, west half of Paul Felder, block 29, into 2 separate lots. The property affected is legally described as Felder Block 29, lot 8, 9, 10, West Half Hall, located in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the plat.
We have a motion from Dr. Waller to approve the replat,
I'll second.
and a second from Commissioner Kukowski. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Seeing no opposition, the motion carries. And that takes us to agenda item number 6, conduct a public hearing for the purpose of receiving public comment and testimony regarding a zoning change application submitted by James C. Hassel for the property located in the A0062J Whitesides abstract. The zoning change application requests to change the zoning from AO Agriculture Open Space District to Pecan Lakes Estates Phase 4 PUD, a planned unit development for the development of a 63.55 acre single dwelling unit subdivision. The properties affected are legally described as A0062J Whitesides, Tract 17-2, acres 31.76, A0062J Whitesides, Tract 17, acres 31.79, located in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas. And we will open the public hearing at 6:09 p.m. Lupe?
Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, city staff received a rezoning application request from Mr. Hassel for the recently annexed property. Both of the properties that we described were recently annexed by city council, and so that's in the city limits. And when a property is annexed, it automatically is AO zoning, and so Mr. Hassel has submitted Pecan Lakes PUD Phase 4. All of the standards outlined in the concept plan are essentially a exact match to Phase 3, which is the 6,000 square foot lots and a few other standards in the concept plan for review. Mr. Hazel's here. If y'all have any questions, and I believe there are a few citizens that would like to speak on this item as well.
We're only dealing with the zoning change.
That's correct.
Correct.
That's the only issue tonight.
Yes, sir. Everything outlined in the concept plan.
Concept plan is part of the zoning change.
The PUD is established by all of the standards listed in the concept plan.
But the zoning change would be to change it from ag open to
Kind of like,
to the PUD.
yes.
It goes ag open to PUD. There's no intermediate.
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
correct.
That was my error, but I was thinking it was going to some sort of other zoning, not going to PUD.
Oh, yeah.
Itself, okay.
Well, I took a drive down through there this past Sunday afternoon. It's amazing what you've done back there.
Well, thank you.
It's quite a bit of houses back there.
There'll be 180 houses in this.
In this
Yeah.
section? And how many are in the last one?
173. The first two, I think, is 150, 173, and it'll be 180 in this.
So will the access to this property be off of County Road 424?
It will be, there'll also be an access into this property from the other section also.
Okay.
We also working, trying to get that road that goes in to 105, it's right down to left, yeah, right there.
That's the easement?
Yes. I think we've reached an agreement with the state that I pay $75,000 and they'll let me go out to County Road, 105.
So where's that property on here, Lupe?
These two.
Okay.
There's a stub out connection roughly here in the other phase. So there'll be a cross access here as well to the rest of the subdivision. So three entry points.
Hey, can you tell me, is that right in front of my home or not? I just don't, I'm trying to figure out where it's at. Because.
Where's your address?
93, 59 County Road 423, 424.
Monica?
Uh-huh. Just show me, I don't, just. Here it is.
Here you are, it's
Okay.
behind you.
Behind me? Okay.
Right beside you.
Beside.
Who's right beside you?
Or beside, yes.
Beside me?
And they're gonna redo that road, or what they gonna do? County Road 424?
That's a county road.
They tearing it up with all the cement trucks. It should go the way where the new road is built, where the houses are.
I feel that's gonna be a lot of traffic for that, that's gonna be a lot of traffic for that county road, I'm telling you. And we've had
Okay, folks,
fenders,
that, we're the city and that's the county, so.
but I'm telling you, I mean, you're right alongside me though. I mean,
Randy, we will work for the county and upgrade that road.
I mean, you're gonna have a lot of fender benders, that's all I gotta say, because there's already been some down that road right there, and I'm telling you, it's, when people turn in already, that go down that road with those big trucks and stuff, when you're turning in right there in front of my house,
They need like a center lane on the highway.
yeah, there's gonna have to be something on that highway, or there's gonna have to be a turning light right there, with all the houses out there, you're gonna have something, somebody ran back into my daughter a couple of years ago, when we had the salvage yard, there was so much traffic.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Hassel?
So that's my problem.
This is the exact same HUD that we dealt with in March of 2020. We went round and round about it, number 9, the sidewalks on one side of the street. It has not been amended. It's kept the same way. You're going to have the same issues with me, and maybe the rest of this council, just like you did in March of 2020. Just letting you know.
That's fine.
Because you can't come in this time saying that you didn't know about it, because you do now. Sidewalks on both sides of the streets, or the paying the in lieu of fee.
Well, that's to be decided.
Yes, sir, it will.
Okay.
Question would be, if we accept or if we rezone it to the PUD, we're not accepting the conditions of the PUD by rezoning it, are we?
So what you're considering tonight is the Phase 4 PUD,
Okay.
which is all of the items listed in.
Including the
that-
sidewalk.
Everything in there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And as done previously, or like Mr. Weisner mentioned in the last PUD, you can take action on the PUD with certain modifications. So,
Okay.
yes, sir.
So does the park space, does that fall back to the original Pecan Lakes?
So the parkland requirements, those are not specifically addressed in the PUD. So any standard that's not outright listed in the PUD has to be met. And so that would come when we review the preliminary plat.
Okay.
If there is any parkland or anything else in there, as far as the rest of the ordinances. So what the PUD does is it outlines specific things that maybe they're varying from other set standards, right?
Right,
And so anything not in here automatically falls back on our adopted regulations.
okay. Mr. Hassel, this doesn't relate, but how long until you're built out in phase 3?
How long to what now?
Until you're sold out in phase 3?
We've sold the lots. We'll be closing on the last bit of the lots in January.
Okay,
They've inspected it and everything.
okay.
And if you can see out there, they don't slow down.
No, there's no stopping. I was out there 2 weeks ago, and it's just unbelievable how many houses they can build at
Yes.
once. So we need to talk about the sidewalks.
We can modify ask to modify the PUD so that sidewalks are on both sides of the street. If we approve it as is, then we have the same problem of going back, trying to either get sidewalks or get the money. We can't say pay us in the PUD, right? You can't ask for money in the PUD.
Well, you could, in that regard, you could make that motion similar to the last time. So theoretically, let's say that a motion was made to approve the PUD with a modification that sidewalks are installed on both sides, and if not, the fee in lieu of be paid. So you could make that motion in the PUD, and then I would write that, make an amended version for council, and then they would consider the amendment in the original PUD as well.
Randy, if I might speak, what y'all gotta remember up here is the way that I got him as biograph here and a building house like that was keeping the lot cost low. Y'all can always raise the price that I have to charge for a lot, but that slows the building down. That's your choice.
Mr. Hassel, the only thing we're trying to do is follow the subdivision ordinance where sidewalks are required on both sides of the street in new developments. And it seems like we're faced with it time and time again from developers, not just you, but other developers in the community who fuss about either building a sidewalk or paying a fee in lieu of the sidewalk. And unfortunately, that's what the ordinance says, is you have to build a sidewalk or pay a fee in lieu of a sidewalk.
Well, you know, it's surprisingly, you know, you've got people here that's building and trying to get people to this town. And, you know, Champions Mobile Home just bought that track out there. And they're the largest in the United States, and they're asking for tax abatement. And they're coming to the city for tax abatement. They'll probably get it. I get nothing. When I develop a lot, my taxes, when I don't close on that lot, my taxes are taxed at the rate what that lot is valued at.
Yes, sir.
And I pay the tax on it. What you can do, if you want to, is require everybody to do so much that they can't get the builders in here. Then what happens to the town?
We didn't put the ordinance into place. We're just here to follow the ordinance.
Well, you can follow the rules or you can hold to them. I have no problem with what you do.
The last
If you
group
want
we came up
sidewalks on
with
both
108
sides,
houses didn't bat an eye when we asked for sidewalks.
if you want sidewalks on both sides, I'll be glad to put them in. It just means I gotta raise the cost.
You know, you don't have to put them in, you can pay the fee in lieu of. That's
And
what the
what
ordinance
do you do with the money?
Yes, that's what the ordinance says.
Yeah, what do you do with the money?
We put it in the sidewalk.
Put it in the sidewalks in the rest of town.
Well, why don't you put your own sidewalks in?
It has nothing to do.
Why don't the city put the sidewalks in if they're required? I mean, why should I have to pay, or other developers or other builders have to pay for sidewalks inside the city that they have nothing to do with?
It's a development expense. You pay for the city and the gas lines and.
I shouldn't pay for the city.
You pay for the water lines and the gas lines.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I pay for the sewer line too.
It's
And you don't consider
infrastructure.
a sidewalk to be the same sort of infrastructure.
No, sir, I don't consider it that same
Well,
thing.
it is, it's part of the infrastructure. It's an unfortunate situation, but we didn't decide that sidewalks had to be built.
Well, when I made the original deal with the city, and we created that PUD, they said sidewalks on one side of the street, and that's what I priced all the lots.
I'm not sure why the expectation is that a PUD that was generated several years ago for one phase
No, sir.
can be continued. Where in the issuing of the PUD does it say that that PUD can be utilized to the nth degree?
Well, it doesn't say it can't be.
It doesn't say it should be,
It doesn't say that it can't be.
and we're saying we want it modified. That's where we are.
Well, you can, like I say, it's up to y'all. You can increase the cost. I go up $1,000 per lot. It matters not to me, except they just won't get bought as fast.
If it matters not to you, then we're happy to do it.
You're happy to do it?
We're happy to modify it so that it's required if it doesn't matter to you. Yes, sir.
Well, you know, I come up here and I do my best in this town, and you've been antagonistic ever since I've come in here. And I don't understand that. Yeah, you was wanting me to pay last time when you get a sidewalk beside your house. That's what you said in our meeting.
I said if we, yeah.
Well, yes, you said you could get a sidewalk beside your house. Is that not what was said?
That's not on the agenda.
Yeah.
So we're here to
That's
talk
what I
about,
said. Excuse me.
we're here to talk about
Yeah.
Phase 4 PUD. Any other questions?
That's here for the public.
Are there any public responses that only have to do with the rezoning of the property? Come to the mic and please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Brandy Riker, and I live in the tract right next to the property that they're doing right there.
Okay?
And I know I've spoken before, and I haven't spoken for y'all, but we had a lot of issues since he's been building all around us. Our property had flooded completely, like all the way up to my house just about, where we had water that was over my knees in some places. You know, we've kind of tried working with Mr. Hassel. He put a drainage, he had an easement at the back of our property that was there when it wasn't supposed to be, but we worked it out with him, and he now has the easement at the back of our property. And after, you know, many times of coming here, he ran a ditch down the left side of my property, on his property there, in the new tract. It kind of helped a little bit, but when he raised all of the land, and I think it's phase 3, all that water kind of just came down onto our property. So where the ditch he put on the other side kind of helped a little bit. The water comes down onto our property on the side of the junkyard, and then has to cross over my property to drain out at the other side or at the back side of our property. And in most places, it doesn't even make it there, it just sits over, especially right behind the Torres property by the junkyard, all in that one little corner there. It all just sits now. Before all this happened, we never had a water issue at the back side of my property. It was high and dry always. So now I guess I'm just here today, you know, out of concern for what's gonna happen when he starts building on the other side of me now. I mean, when he built the other side, I have pictures of truckloads of dirt coming in nonstop where he raised it up, big mountains that he would make before they would flatten it out. And I'm not trying to, you know, harm the city's progress, I don't want to hinder the growth. It's just, I just want to make sure that in this whole process, that they're making sure that we're not going to have a major issue and my house isn't going to just become a giant swamp, which is pretty much what it was doing. We literally had waterfowl out behind my home. The water stayed there for months before it finally drained away. And now it is a little bit better, you know, with some of the stuff that he's done, but it's still not the way it was. And whenever we get rain, the back of my property retains water when it never did that before, ever. So I'm just concerned to make sure that while this new tract is being done, that things are done properly and that I'm not going to have my home that I worked so hard for destroyed. When I talked to my engineer, he said the issue was that with the plot maps that were given initially for the other tracks, was that those plot maps were before any of the changes were made. They were showing before any dirt was brought in or any changes made to the land. So after the changes were made, that's how all the issues showed up afterwards. So I'm not sure how to avoid anything else from happening. I just want to make sure that we're taking care of everything properly because I work really hard for my money.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is my first home and I don't want it to be ruined.
And I think that's why we're here too. We're just concerned when it comes in, because I don't have any problems.
Please step to the
Okay.
microphone.
See, that's where I'm concerned about, because what she's telling me, I'm concerned, what if that comes to my property? I mean, you know, when he puts that other phase in, you know, that water comes up behind my yard, or, you know, what she's going through, because I feel bad because of what she's going through, and I would hate to go through that. There's got to be a solution, y'all.
It's unfortunate that we can't discuss that tonight because the
Okay.
only thing we're here to talk about is the rezoning of the
Okay.
property.
I just want to make sure it's known, you know, so that when we're going through all the stages, that we're watching for all this and we're keeping this in mind, you know, when we're looking at all the maps and approving everything through this process, that.
Y'all need to come back when we have
Okay.
the meetings about the replatting of that property. Because that'll be very important at that time.
Okay, we will.
Are those dates planned?
It will be once the construction and preliminary plat drawings have been reviewed by staff, so it could be a month or 2 months.
You're saying select?
I think so, and if not, I'll make sure to reach out to you guys. I have your name and address, so.
Okay.
And still on after they finish.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Any other public comment about the rezoning of the 2 tracts of land? Any questions?
Before we close the public hearing, I'd like to ask a question here. This is to begin phase 4. Okay, on phase 3, I think that the council here, we did say that we wanted sidewalks on both sides of the street. But phase 3 did not come with sidewalks on both sides of the street. So did council vote us down? What happened there?
That's correct. So the decision was overturned and the PUD as originally presented was approved. And one of the key points to a PUD is our subdivision ordinance does have a lot of standards, sidewalks on both sides and other applicable rules. But what makes a PUD unique is a PUD is like a negotiation between the city and a developer and many varying characteristics. So while our ordinance does say sidewalks on both sides, when you enter into a PUD, or when you can qualify for a PUD in this instance, because there's a lot of acreage, the developer and the city have that extra negotiating tool. So it's not a hard line. The subdivision ordinance says both sides. It really is up to the discretion of planning and zoning and ultimately council to make that final decision. So it was overturned, but again, it's because there's a little bit more room for negotiating with a PUD than when you have just a typical zoning change. If this was being changed to R1A zoning, you know, that's an established city zone, and so there wouldn't be a discussion for sidewalks on one side or not. They would either have to apply for a variance or pay the fee. But since it's a PUD, they have a little bit more flexibility on how they can present a project.
So I guess to answer my question is since phase 3 was sidewalks just on one side of the street, is that the direction that the council wants to go out on that end, just sidewalks on one side of the street?
Be a question for Grant.
I mean, I can't speak for council directly. I just know that they overturned the previous decision. And so, as P&Z, y'all can make that recommendation again, but I can't speak to what their decision will be.
Do you have anything to add to that, Councilman Holt?
Well, being that until it's presented to us, I can only speak for one person. That's
Right.
me. I cannot speak for the council. And until something is brought to us, and even to me to review, to look at it, I can't really say one way or the other.
Anything else? No? Seeing nobody's hands up, we'll close the public hearing at 6:36. And that brings us to agenda item number 7, consideration and possible action on a zoning change application submitted by James Hassel for the properties located in the 80062J Whitesides abstract. The zoning change application requests to change the zoning from AO Agriculture Open Space District to Pecan Lakes Estates Phase 4 PUD, a planned unit development for the development of a 63.55 acre single dwelling unit subdivision. The properties affected are legally described as A0062J Whitesides Tract 17-2, acres 31.76, A0062J Whitesides Tract 17, acres 31.79, located in Navasota, Grimes County, Texas.
Discussion. Before, I think that we need to make a motion, I think that we need to ask ourselves a question here. In phase 3, sidewalks are on one side. Phase 4, I know what we had said in phase 3 was that sidewalks be on both sides of the streets, but I guess during the negotiation with council, it ended up being on one side of the street. Both of these, phase 3 and phase 4, well, all of the homes out there, they will be somewhat connected together. So how is that going to make phase 3 with sidewalks on one side of the street, and phase 4 with sidewalks on both sides of the street?
Continuity?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of puzzled right now if a presence has already been set, you know, maybe we're just somewhat talking about spilled milk right now.
So, is this phase 3 here?
Yes, sir. This is phase 3, section 2, phase 3, section 1, and 3.3. That'll come up for consideration in the near future. But phase 1 and phase 2, and yeah, as Mr. Harris stated, all phases up till now have had sidewalks on one side only.
Luby, can you tell us, is all the sidewalks on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side, or they're staggered?
It depends. It depends. It really depends on when they submit the plans. If there's a conflict, we usually say, oh, it works out better on this side or this side. Depends on where the connection is. It's not really a dead set thing. I think for phase 1 and 2, and actually phase 3, most of it are on the right-hand side. Yeah, I guess it depends on what direction.
Are you looking north?
Yeah, I live on Master, so I'm thinking, okay, it's on the right-hand side, but yeah, it just depends on the way the path is lit, is decided on.
So do you have a sidewalk in your yard?
No.
In your house?
No.
Brandon, do you?
On the side. Corner.
You know, sidewalks, just makes the home look a lot better and everything, but, you know, my feeling is the presence has already been set out in that area, so.
I understand your feeling. I would rather keep asking for this and keep letting council be the one that turn down the money or turn down the extra sidewalks, and it not be us.
Yeah, I think that everybody sitting up here was a big proponent of sidewalks on both sides of the streets or in lieu of. I don't know.
Is it too late for me to speak?
We closed.
I'm sorry.
Are you speaking directly on sidewalks?
Yes.
Can we allow her?
You have the discretion if you choose to allow discussion on this item as well.
This is just for the replat.
Yeah. We probably need to save that for another meeting when we're talking about these replat that'll have sidewalks on it or not. I'm kind of like Todd on the, we can always ask for it, and all we have to do is get turned down by.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt my feelings if city council changed, you know, they're the ones that have to be, you know, just as responsible for these kinds of decisions and, you know, trying to take advantage of income resource instead of taking money out of general fund to do these sorts of things. Because, you know, this money is dedicated when it comes through this.
I have a tendency to go with James.
Well, you know,
The continuity of the whole
Yeah,
subdivision.
if it was a new subdivision that you started with the first home, yes, I would be firm with sidewalks on both sides of the streets, but what, we already have 200 plus homes out there with sidewalks on one side of the street. That's my feeling, but you know, we've got 4 other people sitting up here.
You know, my opinion is very much like Todd's and Randy. You ask and that's it.
I see both sides.
I mean, I do as well.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to ask. And I understand the continuity side of it, but this is new property. So, all right. Any other discussion on the PUD?
When you say asked, I mean, because we're here to make a decision whether we're gonna
Approve the
approve the PUD.
Yes.
That's this.
And,
As presented or
Right.
amendments.
So are we gonna make changes to the, what's in front of us, or? Because we can't just vote like it is if you're saying that you have just asked.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman. I move that we accept the zoning change request from Ag Open to a Pecan Lakes Estate Phase 4 PUD with the modification that sidewalks are put on both sides of the street or the in lieu of fee is paid.
Have a motion from Commissioner Wiesner to approve the PUD with one modification requiring sidewalks on both sides.
I'll second.
A second from Dr. Waller. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposition?
One.
Seeing the motion carries, the
I didn't vote on
Chairman is abstaining.
it. Right.
Okay, so we have 3 yeas 1 nay and 1 abstention. And that brings us to agenda item number 8. Discussion and possible action on a final site plan application submitted by KBR Retail Inc. for the property located at 912 North LaSalle Street, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868, legally described as the Point Subdivision, Block 1, Lot 1, acres 2.42, replat 2020-309617, for the purpose of developing a laundry, fuel, and convenience store. And we have a project representative from that project here. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission, if you remember, we just recently considered this project a few weeks ago. The preliminary plat was approved with a contingency of installing sidewalks along the 3 sides of the triangle-shaped property. Since then, staff met with the developer, and in lieu of the sidewalks, they have requested the fee, and so the total amount is 1,662.16 linear feet, and that's subtracting any driveway entrances. And the total sidewalk fee is $59,837.76. And Mr. Rahim is here representing the project, as well as Bobby, if y'all have any questions. And this is on the north side pizza-shaped property.
Triangle.
Milliken State.
The site plan is exactly the same as the preliminary.
That was what I was gonna ask.
that you
There's no
considered.
changes in the site plans from what I can see.
Yeah, no changes, just the fee and local sidewalks. Yes, sir.
We have no text dot issues.
No, sir. Yeah, the driveway permit was approved on the south, so.
And I think you and I had a discussion about the other side of the property and where that entrance was gonna be compared to the Black Rock construction, and they're not really pointed at each other like I thought they were, right?
Yeah, they're about a block and around the corner. So.
Okay, okay.
On the last time this was brought forth, I don't think that you was here. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're gonna do in that area up there?
Yeah, there's a same party like one of my partners, his was here Bobby. He got a convenience store on Highway 6 on corner, 105 also, Shell Chevron and Shell. So I'm also one of the partner, and we are building 9,500 square feet building with a nice looking convenience store, 2,500 square feet laundromat, and keeping the 2 small tenant space. Yeah.
This gonna be like a 24-hour store?
Not.
No.
Only, yeah. So probably 18 hours, 60, 17, 18 hours.
Are there any sidewalks in that area?
No, sir.
I know there's none on North LaSalle, but
No, I think the furthest the sidewalks go is at the corner of the Dollar General, where the water, where the ice station is.
Yeah,
That's where they
that's where we
stop.
stop. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the final site plan application submitted by KB&R Retail Inc. for the property located at 912 North LaSalle Street, Navasota, Grimes County, Texas, 77868. Legal described as the Point Subdivision, Block 1, Lot 1, acres 2.42, replat 2020-309617 for the purpose of developing a laundry, fuel, and convenience store. That's a lot to say, isn't it?
Mr. Harris, are you including the fee in lieu of?
Yes, with the $59,000 plus.
We have a motion from Commissioner Harris,
I'll second.
a second from Commissioner Kukowski. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving the final plat as presented with the fee in lieu of sidewalks? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, motion carries. That brings us to agenda item number 9.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good luck. Consideration and possible action on approval of the meeting minutes for November 18th, 2021.
Make a motion to approve then.
Question from Dr. Walla,
Second.
second from Commissioner Harris. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Seeing none, motion carries, and that brings us to the final agenda item 9. That's number 10.